Hello YouTube, this is another episode of Thomas Talks. This is episode going on 10. Today we've got three things to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about Minecraft, the new 1.8 update. We're going to talk a little bit about Gears 3 again. And we're going to talk a little bit about Dead Rising 2 off the record. So, let's get started. Last episode I talked to you guys about the 1.8 pre-release for Minecraft. Well, the day after that, he decided to, because he did the pre-release, and then about a day or two after that, he did the pre-release 2, which was kind of an update to the pre-release. And then yesterday, he did the actual release of 1.8. So you can go in, and instead of moving your jar and everything, you can just straight up have your 1.7 and do the update. Also, I've checked around. If you use texture packs and you don't like the default for any reason, there is a texture pack called SMP Revival, and you'll see it with stuff like Yogbox, and a couple of the mods will tell you to go get it. So if you use texture packs, you may have heard of it. Well, they have already done an update for 1.8, so they've got the texture pack with all the new items and the experience bar and the food bar and everything in that texture pack. It's really nice. It's 16-bit, I believe. So it's low quality, so if you can't run a high quality like 64-bit texture packs, then definitely check this out because it's really nice. Now I'm going to go into detail about some of the things they added here. It's a long list, so let's get started. They added brand new biomes, one of which was the swamp. Doesn't really serve a different purpose, he just made a little more diversity to the terrain is all. Added a new mob, which was Endermen. And the Endermen are what people were calling Slendermen before we really got a lot of information about them. And they're the ones that when you look at them, they'll sit there and stare into your soul like they're slowly sucking your soul out from your eyes. And right now he doesn't have their own sound, they make zombie sounds. But they will move blocks around in the terrain, and as soon as you put your cursor on them, they'll look at you. When you take your cursor off of them, they will actually teleport to you and smash the crap out of your face. They're kind of derpy right now, so they don't actually attack you the way that I think they should be attacking you, but I'm sure he's going to fix that. And they attack for a heart of damage each time they hit you. Really, really tall. You're far off and you don't notice how tall they are, but when you get up next to them, you're about half their size. They're almost that much taller than you. And so you've got those. He added a field of vision slider, which is literally your field of vision. It's really hard to explain. It's something you really have to just kind of see, but how your field of vision you can see out. You can expand that with this to where you have a narrow or wide view basically. And it has a reference where if you turn it all the way up, it goes into something called Quake Pro. And in the old Quake games, if you had played them, you get this huge field of vision, so you try to see as much as possible at any given time. It's a good and bad thing because it messes with depth perception if you're not used to it. But at the same time, you can see more around you. So give it a try, see how you like it. They also added a brightness slider. Personally, I always keep mine up all the way because the torches, everything is really dark. You can see everything. You can see underwater, you can see in the caves and stuff. Even when it's pitch black, you can still see stuff. And you don't need a torch. You're obviously going to want torches because the benefit of this is, yes, you can see everything at night and everything underwater where it's dark and everything, But turning it all the way up and getting this really bright environment won't make it any brighter. It has a consistent max bright at all times. So turning it up really is the best option, I think, anyway. You can mess with it and see what you think. Then they added randomly generated ravines. They also added killing a monster or neutral mob or anything really will grant experience orbs and level you up. They don't have a purpose for the leveling system yet, but I'm sure they will. Also, Enderman drop an item, I think it's like the Ember Sphere or something, that doesn't have a purpose yet either. He's adding stuff like that in 1.9. And they added villages, where villages will spawn, but they don't have NPCs yet. He's also adding that in 1.9. The player can level up now, as said. He added huge mushrooms, which I have not actually found any of these yet, but I think they work the same way as, like, if you play Terraria, you'll get this reference as well. The Terraria giant mushroom trees. They're basically literally, they're trees, tree sized anyway, but they're giant mushrooms, and I think you can get mushrooms from them, but I'm not entirely sure. They may just be kind of like a wood source or something, or maybe they're just for show. Who knows? I haven't found any yet, but if you find any, feel free to make a comment on here, and I'll definitely post a video up whenever something new comes out and add that in there. Using bone meal on small mushrooms grows the mushroom into a giant mushroom also, but that's only if there's room to do it. So you can do that with bone meal now. He rewrote the light rendering, so there's a little bit less lag, and the smoothing, texture smoothing is a little better. Also, torches have a, like, if you're right next to them, they're really bright, and as you go away, they start to darken effect now. So torches actually make sense with their lighting a little bit, or like physically, real life wise. The skylight and block lights have different tints. There's new colors. He added some new colors and tints to the game. He added critical hits that deal plus 50% damage, plus an extra point to make crits with weak weapons worth it. So in other words, you hit with a diamond sword and you get a crit, it's one-shotting it, period. You hit a crit with a wooden sword, it's not going to one-shot it necessarily, but you'll two-shot it. If the player hits a mob while falling, they will always hit a critical hit. I think that's you falling, not the mob. The game now keeps track of damage sources and types to decipher what you use and how you use it. Some damage types ignore armor now, like drowning, being on fire, but not being in a fire. And falling out of the world ignores armor now. Ice now only spreads to existing ice or from a coastal area. He made explosions prettier. Now by prettier, I know that's an odd thing to kind of say, but basically when a creeper or something explodes, not only do you get this damage of the land and the pixels kind of pop out there, but you've also got these little swirls that will make it look like an explosion. And if you mess with art, you'll get this, but it's like an explosion outburst effect visually. It's a lot nicer. He made level height depend on a single variable. I don't know really what that means, to be honest. I'm sorry. Because the max height of the game is still 128. But yeah, I don't really know what that means. Sorry. He added sprinting. Sprinting is hilarious, but you cannot sprint up steps, which is weird, but whatever. He added hunger, obviously. Food is now stackable. Improved the logo. Just one of those funny little facts. Added suspended particles to water. Not entirely sure what that means either. Go ahead and leave me a comment if you know, but eating food now takes time. Like, you have to hold the button down. You can't just be like, click, click, clickety, click. You do not gain health from food, though. You have to have a full bar of food, as in you have to be full, and then you'll regen health. Skeletons hold their bows better now. In other words, they're really good. I got sniped yesterday from about 50 meters away. Well, actually not me, it was my friend, but still, I've been sniped as well, and it's just ridiculous. They're a lot better shot. He added melons, which you can get a melon seed, and that melon seed is on this square, right here and right here, in a 4 pattern, but not the diagonals. Melons will grow, and you can eat melons, and they consistently grow forever, as long as you don't let grass overtake them or something, which happened to me. Made melons and pumpkins farmable. Not really sure what that means either. I mean, I guess at one point he did not have them where you could pick them up or something, or they didn't count as a food, or I don't know, because I had pumpkins and they're not a food, so I don't know. Animals that get hurt will flee randomly for a short while. Now what that means is you go and you try to get, like, because cows drop beef now, you hit that cow, he's going to run away from you now. He's not going to act like, and I'm the derpy derp, and sit there and let you smack the crap out of him. No, he actually runs away, and you have to chase him. And it's so erratic that it actually makes sense, and it's annoying, but it does make sense. And so yeah, you gotta chase down for your food now. It actually adds a little bit more hunt to the hunting method of food. Pigs now have snouts. He originally wasn't gonna add that, but people responded with like, yeah, that's cool, so he went ahead and added now pigs have snouts. Made a flashier title screen. Again, one of those random little, okay, cool. Looking towards the sun during sunset or sunrise changes the fog's color, so it actually looks like a sunset or sunrise. Added player list to multiplayer. Now what that means is, when you type in a server, you name it, you name the IP, well now that stays up there. You don't have to type in the server every single time, which is cool. Added fence gates. I've not built one yet, but I will definitely find out how, because that's cool. And I actually didn't know that until just now. Added cave spiders and silverfish. Technically, they're not new mobs, but they're still new mobs. I mean, because you already had spiders, and silverfish really aren't a mob, you just have to kind of suck. Because like, silverfish, okay, they come from the block. You have to break a block with a pick, and it will spawn a silverfish out of it. And this block looks exactly like stone, but it lets water pass through it, like rain. And when you break it, the silver little looks, it doesn't really look like a fish at all. Because the first thing, silverfish, fish. No, it's not a fish, it's like a caterpillar almost. And it'll chase you down and it'll do half a heart of damage every time it hits you. It's really, really annoying. And then the cave spiders will poison you and slowly drop your hearts over time. They're really annoying. They're smaller than regular spiders. I hate them, honestly. He added, now what these are called are strongholds, but they're huge underground dungeons. And I think I found one yesterday, and what it really is, if I'm correct on this, I may be wrong, is you have this open area, there's a spawner right here, there's a spawner over here, there's a spawner over there, there's a spawner over there, and there's little cavern passages around here that lead to the spawners, but it all links together in one way or another. And so you've got multiple, Like I had a cave spider spawner, I had a zombie spawner, I had a skeleton spawner, I had a pig spawner actually down there, which was weird. There weren't any pigs by it. Actually, no, there was one pig by it. It might not have been pig spider or pig spawner. I may be wrong, but yeah, there's tons of chests, tons of monsters, extremely difficult. You got people falling everywhere and kicking the crap out of you. It's very difficult if you don't go in there prepared. But it's definitely worth it as well. Underground mine shafts have been added, which was a big thing. Now you don't necessarily have to make mine rails as much, because you can just go down and find one of these shafts. They've got mine tracks around there, and they've actually got the miners did a horrible job digging some of these out, because I mean there's minerals everywhere. Added sprouts for melons and pumpkins. The same again. That means that you've got that single seed right there, and it'll spawn on the 4 beside it, but not diagonally 4. If you can understand what I'm saying there. Added iron bars, as in how you can do glass paneling now. I believe that means you can do iron paneling for like literally barred windows. Added vines, not really sure what they're for yet. Fixed mushrooms spreading infinitely. Not really sure what that means. I guess they just kind of don't spawn or something. I don't know. Fixed caves generating with too many dead ends, so you can lead on and on and on. But he also kind of, the pre-release had that really bad, where you'd go in and just go forever and ever and ever. He dumbed that down a little bit. So it's not as bad, but it's still like, it's pretty far. Okay, I'm going to have to continue this episode in another episode. So let's hope this gets up. This has been Thomas Talks episode 10. I'll be back in a minute.